this fucking toilet a fully immersive experience. Like, what
The fuck is that even defined
what
as?
do you need as you shit? Like, how high are your fucking demands as you take a shit? You know what I mean?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Tether Radio Podcast, the only podcast keeping you from spiraling out into the infinite abyss. My name is Daniel, and I will be your host, and I am joined, as always, by my brother and co-host, Joseph.
Howdy.
What's good, dude?
Dude, these are the first steps into a new era, 2019, as it unfurls in front of us.
Yeah.
Let us step confidently.
And so, in regards to 2019, how's the new year treating you so far?
Not bad, man. Not, what are we, 8 days into this sucker?
6.
Whoa, shit. Time flies when you're having fun. Yeah, so things are good, man. Things are good. It was fun hanging out with everybody for the holidays, and now back to the biz.
Yeah, we're back to the grind, man.
Back to the grind, as they say. Absolutely. How's everything up in your neck of the woods? You guys good?
Dude, doing well. Got a new car over the holidays, so I now have a vehicle that when I go out to the driveway and turn the key in the ignition, I know that it's going to start. So I'm sleeping better now.
That's always good.
Yeah, right.
It's always a good thing. But
right
on.
Man.
Well, this is this year is going to prove to be I think interesting for a variety of reasons. I don't think we're going to have any lack of material, man. The fuckery continues.
Yep. Basically a continuation of 2018, so
that's it, man. Anyway, man. It. So what do we got first on the docket here?
Yeah, dude. So I wanted to start off. Obviously, we always try to start off the episodes a little bit lighter. We will be getting into a little bit heavier content in a little bit, but so right now. I pulled this one from TechCrunch. Netflix pleads with people to stop doing the Bird Box challenge. So, for anybody out there that is not familiar with the newest, or I guess the hottest new original content from Netflix, it's called Bird Box, and it's a movie starring Sandra Bullock. Let's see, they actually had a decent. Here we go. In Bird Box, Bullock and her children, boy and girl, are forced to wear blindfolds and navigate a river and spooky forest to protect themselves against the evil monster that, if seen, causes people to kill themselves. So
wait. So this movie has been breaking records, right?
Like left and right. Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
like
but wasn't there?
So
well, go ahead.
Well, no, it's yeah. So it broke viewership records from or by Netflix, especially for original content. I mean, like it
right.
Basically, they released it and it just took off. So,
but wasn't there a question? Wasn't there a question as to whether or not, or as to the metrics used to track how many viewers? Do you remember this?
I vaguely do. Do you have anything more on that? Because honestly, I don't.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what. Go ahead and soldier on with the angle you were taking on old Bird Box here, and I'll look it up for all of us.
All right, cool. So yeah, basically, Netflix literally sent out a tweet that basically said it. Verbatim says, "Can't believe I have to say this, but please do not hurt yourselves with this Bird Box challenge. We don't know how this started, and we appreciate the love, but boy and girl have just one wish for 2019, and it's that you do not end up in the hospital due to memes." So the Bird Box challenge is basically taking the premise of the movie and getting a blindfold, putting it on yourself, or in some of these videos, your entire family, and trying to do like daily activities and stuff like this. Well, I don't know if you got to watch any of these videos, dude, but
that just sounds so fucking dumb.
Oh, dude, and honestly, somebody in the comments kind of summed it up. Oops. Somebody in the comments kind of summed it up perfectly. Sorry, I'm trying to... Every time you scroll down in these, like, damn TechCrunch articles, it automatically loads the next one or whatever. But yeah, it's just, like somebody said, people are dumber than a box of rocks, and social media spreads stupidity like a GD disease.
So here was the viewing part, right? Mm-hmm. So first of all, Bird Box, if you see the previews, I mean, it looks kind of cool, right?
Yeah. I've heard that it's good. I mean, I've heard a bunch of people saying that it was good. So.
But isn't Bird Box just the John Krasinski movie, but just with sight?
See, and that's what a lot of complaints have been, like A Quiet Place. That's yeah, dude. Because A Quiet Place definitely came out before Bird Box. If you haven't seen it, I would 100% recommend it. I would say if you're gonna watch it, don't watch it with people that like to talk, and watch it in an environment that you have complete control over the amount of noise you're around. It's called A Quiet Place.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and just to watch this film, you need discipline.
Yeah, you lack discipline.
All right, so here was the number I was looking for. Netflix said that over 45 million accounts on its service had watched Bird Box. This was on December 31st, right? Mm-hmm. This article came out. So it said on Friday, which would have been December 31st, would have been what, a Monday or Sunday? Monday or Sunday,
I believe.
Yeah, so that Friday, which would have been December 28th, it said that 45 million accounts on its service had watched the latest movie Bird Box, right? And then they said, well, to be exact, it was 45,037,125, right?
Okay.
So that's a massive number. If you start extrapolating that number and kind of understanding what that means and within the context of the way that people traditionally view or traditionally watch movies through traditional distribution channels is what I meant, right?
Gotcha.
Then this would be like one of the biggest movies ever, right? Mm-hmm. This would be one of the biggest movies ever. You still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had a little disruption on my side.
There you go.
But this would be one of the largest movies ever. So then you dig into what Netflix counts as a view, right?
Somebody that accidentally clicks it or something.
Well, here's the deal. So they say that somebody clicked on the movie mm-hmm. and watched 70% of the movie, right? So look, this is just it. That's it's a little tough to say to track this shit when people are paying per unit, right? So it's like this one guy tweets. Let's see. Per Netflix, Bird Box was viewed by 45 million accounts. If you took every one of those accounts and turned it into a movie ticket, average of $9.14, you'd have a 1 week total of $411 million, a little over $411 million, right?
Okay.
Which would be more than the 7-day record of The Force Awakens, which was 390 million, right?
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's not to say that this couldn't happen, and frankly, it makes way, way, way more sense that more people are going to tune in and watch this. I don't think that this guy's Twitter handle is the box office guy, so whatever. I see why he's making like a comparison like that.
Yeah.
But obviously, something that's free and available to a shitload of people is probably going to get more views than something that is not free and requires you to get in your car, which may or may not start, and and drive to.
Fuck you.
Yeah, that's right. Well, it's not a problem anymore. That was 2018. But drive to the theater and you listen to your kids fucking fight about Snow Dots versus Skittles and whatever.
Yeah.
There are complications here, but
Yeah.
anyway, so that was the thing I wanted to bring up. But you were right, dude. People, these challenges.
Well, dude, it's like, yeah, it's like,
To get back to the point you were making, go ahead.
well, I feel like 2018, and honestly, I would even go as far as to say maybe late or 2017. I can't remember when the ice bucket challenge stuff was going on, but then we went to the Kiki challenge or whatever. Remember that shit
Yeah,
from
yeah,
I believe it was like a Drake song or something.
there have been many,
Yeah,
many,
and
many,
it's
many.
just this stupid shit that people
It
are
was,
like,
dude. It was mid 2013 to 2014 was the cold water challenge.
the ice bucket.
Well, it was called the Cold Water Challenge, and then on December,
I just remember that one video of these people that were trying to dump a whole cooler onto this girl, and they dropped the cooler instead, and it just like pile drives her shit into the ground.
it's just so these challenges are like what you get is just social media glory,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, totally. Well, dude,
Anyway.
you need to watch this one really quickly if you haven't already seen it. It's in the article. It's the poster was on Twitter. Fire made flesh, and like basically while Joseph's watching this, I'm going to describe it. It's super short, but it's like this dude and his two kids. And one of them looks like they just learned how to walk. So we're talking like right around a year old.
Wait, and this is in
This is in the article I posted, the
the
TechCrunch.
TechCrunch article. Okay.
Correct. But anyway, so he like gathers his kids together and then they all take off running. And like him and his, I guess, daughter, the older one that looks maybe like, I don't know, 11, 12, something like that. They run through this door frame, and dude, the smallest kid just like nosedives into the wall. Like it's pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, that looks like casual child abuse.
Honestly, dude,
yeah.
it's just like, come on, man.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I didn't want to linger on that one too much. It's just kind of one of those. It was getting enough notoriety that Netflix felt the need to have a dedicated tweet to ask people to stop fucking doing it. So, I mean, it was just like,
well. I mean, here's the deal. Bird Box. Well, why don't if you have time to watch it this week, do it, and I'll do the same, and we'll chat about it next episode.
that works.
I'm wondering. We'll see.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the distribution. I'd like to dive into the distribution of this a little bit more, but for the reason that the article is presented,
Yeah.
yeah, don't go blindfolding your fam, dude. Might not. Well,
it's completely stupid. But anyway, so we're gonna do a hard turn after that one, and we're gonna take you guys to Western Australia. So this was just like I literally laughed out loud when I read this. Like it was awesome. But anyway, so I pulled it from Mashable, and the title of it was "Man's Death Threats Against Spider Results in Full Police Turnout." And I was like, well, this is kind of interesting. So we're gonna go to Perth, Western Australia. And so on Wednesday morning, and this article was posted. I hate when they hide the fucking. All right, it was posted on the 3rd, on January 3rd. But anyway, on Wednesday morning in Perth, Western Australia, a bystander heard a man inside a property repeatedly shouting the words, "Why don't you die?" with the sounds of a toddler screaming in the background. They naturally called the police. So the police show up to this place, and literally it was just this dude that's like deathly afraid of spiders, screaming at this spider, and his kid was all upset. Like, so they have the
I mean, I think
transcript.
they make them in a different way down there too, though. Right?
No, oh yeah, dude, yeah, and of course, I mean, shit, dude. The main joke about like wildlife in Australia is basically everything's going to like trying to kill you. So, but anyway, so I'm gonna read a little bit from the police transcript, the police like call transcript.
All right.
Caller walked past the AA and heard a male screaming out, "Why don't you die?" repeatedly. The toddler inside was screaming, but the caller didn't hear the female who lives there saying anything. Caller doesn't now know them, but has seen them a few times when walking. So then the police, once the police arrived or whatever, police spoke with all parties who advised that husband had only been trying to kill a spider, in parentheses, has serious fear of spiders. Apologize for inconvenience to police. No injuries cited except to spider. No further police involvement required.
It's just fucking ridiculous.
Completely ridiculous, but I was just, why don't you die? Why don't you die?
Yeah, I mean,
It's just like, dude, that is amazing.
this guy's got to get his shit together, man. He's got a kid in the picture. Like you can't act like that. Like
Yeah,
you just, you know,
seriously, especially in fucking Australia, man. Come on.
yeah. So basically, the guy thought that.
He's not even trying to fucking kill his kid or something.
Or his wife,
yeah.
or his significant other, whoever
Yeah.
that person is. Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Shit, man. All right. Well, so dig this.
Yeah.
This one was. I think you posted an article, and then I posted another one soon after. But this is it's kind of an interesting, little kind of commentary on. Not commentary, but an interesting anecdote for the kind of complexity of the Internet of Everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
By the way, I think we've plugged this before, but there's a Twitter account called Internet of Shit, and you need to go follow it now. It's fucking hilarious,
Yeah.
but it's just talks about the absurd number of things that are, you know, IoT enabled and connected to the internet, and the Twitter account seems to suggest that maybe everything doesn't need to be connected to the internet just yet. So, excuse me, the article in a nutshell here. Hackers hijack.
I just thought about something real quick.
Yeah.
What if like we got to a point to where like your refrigerator like it basically contacts your toilet, and it's like, yo, dude, the owner just pounded a shit ton of chicken wings. You better fucking brace it up, man.
Okay, hold on, dude. This was this morning. I was reading about this. Okay.
Yeah.
Excuse me for snorting there. I a little cold a little bit earlier in the week, but so Kohler, right? The toilet company. CES is going on right now. Do you know that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, totally.
Kohler's smart toilet promises a fully immersive experience. With built-in speakers, ambient lighting, and Amazon Alexa support. Why go anywhere else in your house? Like, dude, I mean, we're gonna get back to the Chromecast Alexa hack here. That's interesting. But let me just pull a couple of these fucking quotes. CES has barely begun, but 146-year-old plumbing company Kohler has already stolen the show with what will undoubtedly be one of 2019's hottest gadgets. Or one of 2019's hottest gadgets, yeah. An intelligent toilet with built-in surround sound speakers, ambient mood lighting, and Amazon Alexa voice controls. Truly we live in an age of wonder. So it's like this fucking toilet, a fully immersive experience. Like what
fuck is that even defined
What
as?
do you need as you shit? Like how high are your fucking demands as you take a shit? You know what I mean? Like this the only function that you are trying to pull off here in this shit taking that you're doing is to just expel things your body doesn't need, right? So it's just like
these arms come out of the like top of the toilet and start massaging your shoulders.
Yeah,
just to ease the tension.
I mean, and what is this? Like a 10-minute activity? Like an 8-minute fucking activity? You know what I mean? Like yeah. It's just it is so absurd. So I'm actually gonna post this in our show notes here. I'm just gonna insert.
That is so fucking ridiculous.
And, yeah, I mean,
but you know what?
Are you looking at it right now?
No. Wait, where are you posting it?
I'm gonna throw it in the.
Oh, I see. I got you. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like honestly, we're kind of behind in toilet technology compared to Eastern countries, like far Eastern. In regards to like, I mean, I remember when Megan and I went to Korea, and like, dude, some of the toilets look like damn spaceships.
Sure. Okay. Look, dude, I am totally sold, completely sold on the fact that when you are urinating and defecating, that there may be like amazing data points that can be pulled from that to keep you healthy. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. It's just like, that was a funny sentence.
But you know what I'm saying?
When you micturate, it puts one more data point.
But you know what I'm saying, right? Like if this toilet is like testing for blood and stool, okay, like awesome. But this is an entertainment toilet. You know what I mean? Like the purpose of this toilet is just to keep you not bored while you are
relieving yourself.
So it's just fucking ridiculous. But anyway, all right. So hopping over to the hackers using Chromecasts and Alexas. This is kind of interesting.
All right.
So the gist of the article again is that as we see kind of the confluence of all of these online products, that there are attack vectors that are not really that clear out of the gate, right? And so I'll just read a couple of sentences from this. This is a TechCrunch article. Hackers have hijacked thousands of exposed Chromecast streaming devices to warn users of the latest security flaw. Let's see. But other research said that the bug, if left unfixed, could be used for more disruptive attacks, right? And so the bug, dubbed Cast Hack, exploits a weakness in both Chromecast and the router effects. The two said that disabling the two said they were these hackers, right? Said that disabling universal plug and play should fix the problem, but this has been disputed by experts. Let's see. We have received reports from users who have had an unauthorized video played on their TVs via a Chromecast device. Okay, so the initial vulnerability was just that was around the authorization of who was
the author controlling it.
Yeah, the authorization of who was actually like putting content to the cast, to Chromecast, right? But then people started kind of looking into this authorization bug and kind of extrapolating out from that, right? And this was the part on this that was just mind bending, right? So there's this other security researcher named let's see, guy's last name is Monroe. I think he may work for Ken Monroe, who founded Pen Test Partners, right? In a video, which is in the article that we posted, Monroe said it was easy to exploit other smart home devices like Amazon Echo by hacking a Chromecast and forcing it to play commands that are loud enough to be picked up by its speaker, by its microphone. Yeah. So what they were doing was they were using this authorization hack on Chromecasts to then play a video that would say something like, Alexa, order an iPad, or Alexa, turn off the house alarm, right? and then would use the TV to
to command the Alexa shit.
Command the Alexa. Yeah. Which is incredibly fascinating, right?
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
That's something that's happening. So then, and this was the article that you posted, right? The PewDiePie.
Yeah. Well, real quick, kind of piggybacking off what you were just talking about. This isn't the first time that people have been able to control smart speakers and stuff like that through the voice command shit. Because I remember, and I can't remember if we covered it or not, but people were running, I want to say like either there was like a podcast or there was somebody on the radio or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. It didn't have to do with the Chromecast stuff.
No.
But they were doing like Alexa commands.
Yes.
That would like make your shit go crazy. Kind of
yeah,
thing.
Because people recognize that, if just a voice commanded the Alexa or, whatever, asked, made a request of the Alexa would fulfill that request. Because it's not authorizing, your unique voice. Yeah. It just picks up vocal commands. I do remember that. Here, let me wrap this just real quickly.
Oh yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
So then PewDiePie was, and this was the article that you posted, was just apparently, which you and I were getting into this prior to the call. I didn't realize that there were like hacker fanboys that were kind of helping PewDiePie do what's the word I'm looking for? Like stuff,
just like promo stuff. Yeah.
I didn't realize that was the case because I didn't think PewDiePie was like a technical guy.
Yeah.
But you were bringing up a couple of examples of some kind of
just like you said, basically like publicity stunts or just like whatever. So these two guys. And I think you mentioned them, but Hacker Giraffe and Juicer, and the Juicer's like lead speak, J3WS3R. Those are their Twitter handles, I believe. But I think that at this point, they've deleted their Twitter handles because this was gaining so much traction in media that they were kind of getting nervous that there would be some kind of legal actions against them if someone found out their identity.
Okay.
But yeah, those were the dudes that actually showed the vulnerability, and supposedly, according to their, they had a website. I was trying to remember what the website was called, but anyway, basically what they were saying is they were like, look, we didn't mean anything bad by it. We were wanting to basically show the vulnerabilities of these IoT devices, or specifically Chromecasts, and just show the vulnerabilities so that people can basically address that before someone with more
malicious intent.
Exactly. Yeah.
Right, but they weren't they were just exploiting the authorization bug.
Correct.
Because they were just displaying this ad which
for
they
PewDiePie,
have
basically.
Right.
Yeah. It was like it was basically saying that it was, your Chromecast smart TV is exposed to the public internet and exposing sensitive information about you. To find out more, go to their website, and then it's like at the bottom it's like you should also subscribe to PewDiePie.
Yeah, I think that's first of all, I thought it was kind of interesting that these hackers were aligned with this guy, because like I said, I didn't realize he was overly technical, or even that his community was comprised of technical folks. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah. And I actually really, really like the idea of using these vulnerabilities as publicity stunts.
Yeah.
I really, really like that. But anyway, so I guess the takeaway is that on this note here. The takeaway is that, like, first of all, go follow Internet of Shit on Twitter immediately.
Yeah.
And then number two, it's just, and I think we'll probably get into this on later episodes, but as we see the confluence of everything coming online, we briefly talked about this when we were going through the agenda last week, but you really have to wonder, are companies that are putting out these products, I mean, it used to be that you just spin out a product and you put it into the marketplace and kind of that's that. But like, as these products might compound in liability, what adds up to liability, right? Somebody with malicious intent, like, whatever, hacks your Chromecast, tells your Alexa to unlock your house and murders you. You know what I mean? Like, it's just crazy. It's crazy. So,
well, and so something else that I literally just thought of this, but can't you change the wake words for these devices? I don't think that they're set. I mean, like, they come factory, and well, first of all, I'd say that nobody messes with that, but second of all, I'm pretty sure that you can basically say, I want you to wake when I say, okay, butthead, or whatever.
You could. So I'm sure that that's probably something that's configurable. But like you said, I think very few people probably do it, and that's a function of this all this shit being new.
Yeah.
So it's just I think that this is, if you are a hacker, dude, this is like fucking green field, man.
Yeah.
I mean, there are just so many.
Well, it's kind of, honestly, it's kind of like the FDA putting out like medications and stuff as quickly as they do, because I mean they do have fast tracks for different like depending on how novel a medication is, kind of thing.
Right.
And so sometimes they'll fast track it, it makes it to market, and then 2 years down the line they realize, oh shit, this shit, if somebody receives 3 regimens of this within a year, they get cancer. You know what I'm saying? So it's almost like the tech industry moves at such a rate that it's like they're more concerned with novelty and this new technology, and then on the back end it's like, oh well, we'll address security as we go, kind of thing, as the shit pops up, which I guess makes sense, because I mean
you're not going to be able to factor for everything.
Exactly. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But you're definitely not going to be able to factor for everything. I just think what's really interesting is the kind of difference that the kind of different angle that's here, because this is like, it's a huge liability to be releasing products that can be that we just don't know. We just don't know how these are affecting other products, right?
Yeah.
And so,
but also Chromecast, somebody from Chrome actually, I believe, addressed this and was like, hey, this isn't a Chromecast issue. This is a router issue.
Right. But
because all these newer routers have the universal plug and play function.
I guess that's what I'm saying, though. That's what I'm pointing at, right? Like, like, what a fucking complicated mess, right?
Oh yeah. Because it's basically, as soon as that UPnP tech came out, everybody wanted to put it into their routers.
Right. That's exactly.
But yeah. So and this actually comes after Joseph and I were talking about it a little bit prior to the show, but this also comes after these same two hackers were able to hack, like, I want to say over 50,000 local printers and get them to print out little like promo things for PewDiePie. So this isn't the first time these guys have gotten together to do a little publicity stunt for PewDiePie. But anyway,
it's pretty wild, dude. Pretty wild shit. But I don't know. I love this stuff. So all right, moving on to the next article that we have here. So this is from NDTV. Are you familiar with NDTV?
Yeah.
You are? Okay. So NDTV is an Indian media company from India, right? And fairly big media company. But I thought this was interesting because I mean, we're gonna see if if this happens, right? But article is from January 3rd of this year, right? Hackers threaten to reveal secret data linked to 9/11 attacks, right?
Yeah.
So what's basically happened here is that, and I included this on the link, our link list. Actually, it didn't make it over to this. It didn't make it over to the podcast topic sheet here. But there is a link from a site called Pastebin. Were you familiar with Pastebin prior to this?
No, I actually wasn't, but it was also, and I apologize. I mean, I believe it was just literally pastebin.com, wasn't it?
It was, but I'm gonna port it over so that people can take a look here. But
okay. But so is that a hack thing?
Pastebin?
Yeah.
No, so Pastebin is just a website that's just like a public message board. So you can
somebody else was Pastebin came up in another article, and I can't remember which article, like one of the ones that we were covering today.
Yeah, I'm not really sure.
But anyway, sorry, go ahead.
I'm not really sure on that, but I think that Pastebin is just a website where you can publicly post things anonymously, right? The things that are publicly viewable, right? Like blocks of text. There's a lot of code. There's a lot of code on there.
So here it was, dude. That one of the hackers deleted his Twitter account and wrote a farewell letter on Pastebin. So
for the PewDiePie stuff.
For the PewDiePie shit. The Chromecast stuff.
Yeah, so it's a way to just post things anonymously, which I honestly, man, I thought Pastebin was pretty interesting in and of itself. It wasn't something that I was super familiar with. But anyway. So this is an announcement that was published on Pastebin, and the group calls itself the Dark Overlord, right? And what they say is that they hacked Hiscox Syndicates Limited, Lloyd's of London, at Silverstein Properties, right? Who are all related to I think Silverstein Properties owned a portion of, or maybe all of, the World Trade Centers, and then Lloyd's of London and Hiscox Syndicates Limited were insurers of the World Trade Centers, right? And so what this group is saying is that they've got let's see. It says the group threatened to reveal the documents unless the victims pay them an undisclosed ransom fee in Bitcoin, right? And what the group is saying is that they have information that is going to clear up a lot of conspiracies, on 9/11 conspiracies. We'll be providing many answers about 9/11 conspiracies through our 18,000 secret documents leak, right? Jeez. Yeah. And then a spokesperson for Hiscox confirmed to Motherboard, so this is like Vice's Motherboard, that the hackers had actually breached the law firm, right? And stolen files related to litigation around the 9/11 attacks.
Yeah.
So this is kind of like a cliffhanger. This is like a to be continued. But yeah. So
I'm surprised this isn't getting more coverage.
Well, it also says that the group published a small set of letters, emails, and other documents that mention various law firms as well as TSA, the FAA, and the FAA. So yeah, I mean,
have you checked 4chan for any shit on this?
I haven't, but I'm not super shocked that this isn't getting tons of coverage. I think people are done with 9/11, man.
Yeah.
I think people are just generally finished with 9/11.
True.
And
True.
I think that yeah.
But I mean, dude, like this just makes me think #jet fuel doesn't jet fuel doesn't melt steel beams.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I just think that I think people are done with it, man. It was just such a brutal part of American history, and then created just an absolute quagmire. It didn't create, but it exacerbated, an absolute quagmire in Afghanistan and just further complicated things in the Middle East. But I'm not incredibly surprised that like MSNBC hasn't picked this up, but but I'm gonna be really interested to see what comes out of this, man. I mean, we don't, we cover a lot of tech, a lot of politics, economics, and on the podcast, but man, every now and again, like you get to put that tinfoil hat on and just kind of smirk. Look, things definitely more complicated than ostensibly than they seem ostensibly, right?
Yeah.
And so this kind of shit, I mean, good God, like the message boards are gonna light up, at these
well, I'd say
these conspiracy-oriented, websites.
Oh my God, yes.
Alex Jones is losing his shit right now.
Oh my God, we should totally look into that, man. You know that he's fucking covered this shit, or at least, brushed upon. But and another reason that honestly, it doesn't seem like there's that much information here anyway. So it's kind of like I wonder if, once something comes to fruition in regards to either they pay the ransom, which obviously if they do that, we'll probably never fucking hear about it. But and I would also love to know like what the ransom amount. I mean, they said that it's undisclosed, but
it's been paid.
You think it's already been paid?
Absolutely, 100%, 100%. I mean, because the only reason that hackers hack is for economic gain, period. And so just like any other kind of transaction, these guys aren't coming in and saying, give me $100 billion for this, right? They're coming in and they're saying, is it worth $3 million to you? Yeah. And the answer to Lloyd's of London is like, fuck yeah. Right. Yeah. Like to avoid disruption. So that's already done. Yeah. I'll guarantee you. But oh man, I just hopped over to InfoWars. There's no mention of this, but man, what's funny about Alex Jones is that
most things.
Well, I mean, the guy does seem batshit fucking crazy, but then every now and again, man, he has some stuff that just makes so much fucking sense. Yeah. Like, for example, and I don't want to take just a crazy left turn here, but the truth about the AOC dancing video. Have you seen this?
No. I mean, I've seen the stuff about the video, but I don't really know why it fucking matters. So.
Well, because it matters because the popular narrative is that another congresswoman, a Republican, released this AOC dancing video for the purposes of embarrassing AOC, right?
Yeah.
But what's fucking ridiculous is like anyone could have told this person that that's not the way the internet works, right?
Yeah.
That a video like this is like really endearing, to see people, to see somebody who is, on this, in the limelight, to like recognize that they're also human. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So anyway, it's just, I don't know. We'll talk about that later, but maybe we'll get into that, in a subsequent episode. But
that just made me think of the Key and Peele episode with Barack Obama when he's like, I think it's Jordan Peele is like rolling a joint and he's like, yeah, just think about it. Think that all this sweet kush that I'm putting in here is all my constituents.
Right.
We just need to get them all packaged up together and
rolled up tight.
No air pockets.
No, he said that was like the Constitution or the Bill of Rights.
That's what it was. Yeah.
But
that's fucking awesome.
Anyway, so we will keep the finger on the pulse of these threatened docs, but I'm willing to wager this is the last you ever hear of it.
Yeah, you're probably right, man.
So we shall see. See. So dude, this next one was really, really interesting when you dropped this. And right up your alley. It's it's in to do with healthcare and to do with drugs.
Dude, yeah, pharmaceuticals, man. It's just like everybody knows that they're fucking outrageously expensive for no fucking reason.
Yeah,
well,
but why? So like,
some of them.
Walk us down this thing and start with the deal, right? Because the deal's like, the Celgene deal's like in the news, but
yeah. Yeah, I pulled this one from CNN Business. Bristol Myers Squibb to buy Celgene in $74 billion deal. Mm-hmm. So I was looking into, because obviously being a licensed pharmacist in this great state of Tennessee, I still have even though I'm not practicing pharmacy currently, I still have a pretty hardcore interest in pharmaceuticals and stuff, and just kind of, for lack of a better phrase, like you said earlier, keeping my finger on the pulse to kind of see, honestly, what direction it's going and like how, like what's going on, and try to keep myself full of relevant information, I guess.
Right.
But anyway, so. God, Bristol Myers. So they merged in 1989, and in 2017, or I'm sorry, and then they also picked up Squibb. So now it's Bristol Myers Squibb. In 2017, these guys pulled in an annual revenue of $20.8 billion. Okay.
Okay.
Celgene pulled in a revenue of $13 billion. Okay, so Celgene, I believe it said, was the 9th largest pharmaceutical company. They were responsible for, which I don't know if you've heard of any of these meds, but Abraxane, it's a chemo drug for non-small cell lung cancer. Focalin, have you heard of Focalin?
No.
Okay. Focalin is basically just I believe it's like dexmethylphenidate, which is basically an amphetamine derivative, and it treats ADHD. Very popular drug for treatment of ADHD. And then Otezla, which was a big one that I remembered hearing about, at least, and that was for active psoriatic arthritis. But anyway, so... just I don't know if you're familiar with any of those drugs, but they're very big drugs in the pharmaceutical community. So these guys are going to be purchased by Bristol Myers Squibb, and they were thinking that if this acquisition actually goes through, that it will create, I believe, the 4th largest, it'll get moved up to the 4th largest pharmaceutical company in the world, I believe so.
Okay.
So, I mean, dude, I was looking at Bristol Myers Squibb. Dude, those motherfuckers, they have, like, the patent for Excedrin.
Okay.
Eliquis, which was a stroke drug, huge, like, stroke drug, or post-stroke drug, or I guess post-MI kind of thing to keep you from having a stroke prevention, I guess. This Onglyza, that's a widely used diabetes medication. Pravachol, which is a huge cholesterol medication that's been around for forever. And then Sestiva, which is one of the more heavily prescribed HIV medications. But so I was looking at this, and it was really funny because this is a huge acquisition. And as we've spoken about on here and off the air, I guess, about the No Agenda podcast, they were talking about a little act in 1973 that President Nixon pushed through called the HMO Act of 1973. And because everybody complains about how expensive drugs are these days, and although some of the cost can totally be supported by, I mean, it's like, hey man, this shit's not cheap to like study and develop and all that stuff, but I would 100% say that the markup is out fucking outrageous. But anyway, so with the HMO Act of 1973, it allowed basically the healthcare industry to move from nonprofit to for-profit. And so that they were thinking that, basically after that was pushed through, I mean, dude, everybody and their brother wanted to get a piece of that. Because, like, healthcare is one of those things that, I still can't believe I've never even heard of the fucking HMO Act of 1973. Have you?
Right. No.
Yeah.
No.
And I didn't realize that prior to that, that it was, healthcare was required by law to be nonprofit.
Right.
And honestly, that makes the most fucking sense to me. Because, like, I mean, dude, what does a human have if they don't have their fucking health? You know? And so, I mean, I understand, I guess, the for-profit stuff, just because how do you incentivize people to get into the pharmaceutical industry and really put their neck on the line unless they're going to be able to make massive gains for it, kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
But at the same time, dude, I mean, it's like, you know, I pulled this other article talking about this lady, and her son died because he literally could not afford to have or to pay for his insulin and or diabetes supplies, kind of thing. And so that made me think, oh, well, you know, I mean, like, what kind of, you know, did the HMO Act of 1973, how much did it affect the pharmaceutical industry? And I looked into it a little bit, man, and, like, instead of like normal, like, 5, 10, 20% price hikes prior to, like, and this, I forgot where the graph came from or whatever, but it was basically trending insulin prices from, like, 1960 all the way up to, like, maybe 2006 or something like that. And, dude, it really, I mean, like, you're looking at, you know, 10% hikes a year or something like that, or every, like, 10 years or something like that. And then it got to about 75, and you start seeing, you know, 200% hikes.
Right.
And, like, 300% hikes. Dude, the crazy thing about, and the reason that I wanted to use insulin is the kind of the, I don't know, the baseline kind of thing, is because there has not been a hell of a lot of technological development for insulin. It's just fucking insulin. Like, basically what they've figured out how to create or how to basically not create but extract insulin and make, like, homologs and stuff of human insulin. And I mean, that they're doing the same thing. If anything, technology has advanced to the point where they can do it for cheaper and the profit's just bigger, kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's fucking insane, man, how expensive insulin is.
So here's something interesting that I would love to take a look into, and I don't know if you have this in front of you, or maybe this is just something we could chat about and do a little bit of review on later, but or, you know, catch everybody up a little bit later. But in countries where healthcare is nationalized, how does this change the conversation, right? Like, are they just absorbing these costs, these, like, crazy effing costs? I would assuming they're I would assume that they're probably negotiating, you know, deep discounts based on whatever guaranteed purchases or something to these companies. But it's like the United States just seems, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm fairly, when it comes to, you know, policy like this, like, you know, I'm a free market dude, don't get me wrong, but, like, holy shit, man, this kind of obfuscation is pretty crazy, man. You know. Yeah. So do you know by chance, like how the nationalization of healthcare changes this question?
No. Yeah, I do not. To be honest, I would think. Honestly, I would kind of think what you're thinking, that it's just, you know, you've got these deep discounts. Honestly, probably. I would almost liken it to maybe you go to some of these pharmacies like Walmart and stuff like that, and they're able to buy in such quantity that they can basically, like, for meds that are prescribed super widely, like blood pressure, cholesterol, or I don't know, maybe like a pain medication or whatever, like ibuprofen or Tylenol or something like that. I think that they're able to buy in such quantity that they can basically still turn a profit just because of the turnover kind of thing that they're able to do. So it's like, okay, you bring in 2 prescriptions to this place. One of them is going to cost you, let's say they wrote you a prescription for blood pressure medicine, and then, like, hell, I don't know, so your antidepressant or something like that. You know?
Right.
Well, we'll say that the blood pressure's on the whatever $9 list, so you get 90 days of medication for $9.
Right.
Well, guess what's not on the $9 list? That antidepressant, because that's still patent, under brand patent, and so you're going to pay out the ass for that other one. So they're but that's why I would think that that nationalization of, like, or I guess socialization of medicine in these other developed countries, that it's just like, since the government is responsible for basically financing it, through taxes and shit. I think that they're just able to basically work out these deals with the pharmaceutical companies to where it's like, oh yeah, I mean, you're guaranteed our business for the next fucking 15 years for this thing, or 10 years, and until something else, like, comes up that might, they might be able to buy a little bit fucking cheaper.
Right.
Because if you think in these socialized medicine places, I would dare say that the vast majority of medicines for, like, common disease states and stuff, yeah, you're gonna be able to get something for it. Are you gonna get the, like, top of the fucking line medication? No, because there's 9 other people in line behind you to get the same medication or to treat the same disease state. So.
Right. But when we talk about, like, top of the line medication, doesn't that conversation change as a medicine, it comes out of, IP protection and is able to be genericized?
Yeah. Well, I mean, plus, you're looking at studies, dude. Most of these medications that hit the shelves, and I don't want to misquote, but I would say probably between 5 and 7 years of development and, like, studies kind of thing, unless it gets fast tracked, and then you're looking at, dude, shit can come out within, like, a year. Like, if it gets, like, for instance, like chemo drugs, that there's no other option of treatment and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, like, it does. But it's also one of those things that, like, any patient is going to, and hell, any healthcare professional is going to want to prescribe a medication that's going to be as effective as possible, lowest dose, and fewest side effects or lowest chance of an adverse drug reaction kind of thing. So you take all that shit together. And I mean, that's why it's like, okay, we have meds to treat certain ailments, but it's like a new patented med comes out and it's like causes less diarrhea. It doesn't cause orthostatic hypotension or something like that.
What is that?
So, like, for instance, if you're, like, laying down on the, when you're, like, laying down and then you get up real quick and you get lightheaded, that's orthostatic hypotension.
So, yes. So it's really interesting because, based on where we are in the development of healthcare in the United States, it's like it seems that something fundamental would have to happen. Something foundational would have to shift. To move these companies off center. It's just too big, right? Like, if you kind of take a step back, all of these fuckers have lobbyists. They pay these lobbyists a lot of money to make sure that things like the HMO Act of 1973 are not disrupted.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's I don't know, man. It's really, really interesting. And I just wonder, as we continue to have this healthcare conversation, I mean, look, man, I did a pretty good amount of freelance work last year.
Yeah.
And Martha and I have dealt with this insurance question a couple of times. It's like, look, man, like with Obamacare or whatever, the current state of the healthcare market now, like, I don't know how people do it.
Yeah.
Like, I really don't know how people, I don't know who the beneficiary is. I mean, and that's kind of, I think that's kind of ignorant for me to say, because like, somebody must be benefiting, and I'm assuming it just seems like that costs across the board you went up, and the incentive is just to go and, as far as healthcare is concerned, is just to go and work for a big company and pull down a health insurance, and that's that. Like, that's the fucking conversation, right? Because otherwise, people are making the decision to be uninsured, which we're fortunate enough to be in a situation where we can kind of take the hit when these things rise, right?
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable, but we can do it. But a lot of people are not in that situation, and then so they're like,
that's
dropping coverage because they're like on the edge, and all of a sudden, costs increased 35%. It's just untenable,
Well, and the other thing is it's kind of this compounding problem, because
that's what I was trying to say. That is precisely. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, because you've got people, that are trying to afford this insurance, and then it's just bottom line, they can't fucking afford it, so they drop the insurance. Well, then they sustain an injury,
right,
and they end up using the emergency room as their primary care physician,
right?
Which, dude. Like the average like emergency room visit's like fucking like $1,000 or some shit like that,
right,
or probably even more. Well,
right.
So, something that probably could have been prevented had they had insurance and been having like, a paid for annual like physical or something along those lines. It's just compounded because, instead of them being insured, they're just driving the cost of healthcare for everyone up. Because if you think that the fucking, insurance companies want to foot the bill, they ain't footing the bill, dude. The fucking taxpayers are. So
yeah, it's pretty wild, man. Pretty wild, and it's.
But there's at this point, there's so many fucking like variables as to like why we are where we are,
right?
That I mean, like, I don't even want to come across as sounding like I know what the fucking problem is. I have no idea what the fucking problem is. I could show you some problems,
right?
But it's like, are those symptoms, or is that what's causing it, or is this just the effect,
Yeah, well, I mean, I think that there's a lot of money riding on people not being able to know what the fuck is happening, and for it to be a challenge for the unwinding of a system of this level of complexity to be a huge challenge. There's a massive incentive to keep it fucked up.
Yeah, there was something in this article that like kind of jumped out at me, and it was kind of weird, especially and the article that I'm talking about is the acquisition article from CNN Business,
right?
And I'm going to read this paragraph, and I kind of just want, because you have a lot better idea of like finance. I mean, shit, dude, your master's is wasn't that in?
Yeah, it was a yes,
like business finance kind of thing.
That's what it was. It was portfolio construction and finance. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so check this out. The companies and the companies being Bristol Myers Squibb and Celgene. Also said they have 6 other drugs under development which could debut over the next 12 to 24 months, representing more than $15 billion in potential annual revenue.
Mm-hmm.
If 3 of its drugs receive FDA approval, Celgene shareholders will get an additional $9 for every current share of Celgene stock they held at the time of the merger,
Mm-hmm.
an unusual aspect to how the deal was structured. Does that?
I mean,
it just seemed like it was kind of weird, like it was an incentive to like stick around.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
so I mean, here's the thing, right? Like with any deal,
Yeah,
it is what you say it is.
yeah,
And if you know, shareholders elect elect business leaders, and business leaders are tasked with, you know, steering the ship, and there are board members that oversee officers. I said business leaders. What I meant was, you know, officers of the company.
yeah.
And there are boards that oversee the officers, and so there is a process. I'm getting ready to get thrown in the clink here. Sorry about that. But there is a process that these companies have to go through as they're negotiating, you know, M&A activity, or navigating, you know, M&A activity. And so I guess all of that is to say, nothing is any kind of more unique, I guess, in a deal than anything else. You will see, well, in so long as the rider on the deal, or the kind of the details in you know, an M&A deal, seek to align agency. You know what I mean? So, like, said another way, nothing's fucking unique. As long as the goal is to align agency between the two groups. So what you want to do is you want to acquire a company or merge with a company, and then you want to quickly convert their systems to your systems, keep their leadership around, you know, through that process. And then as they kind of meld into, you know, your architecture, then you have duplicitous roles, and then you get rid of people. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of generally, I think, how people you know, kind of conceptualize the whole process. That being said, I don't know a fucking thing about pharma. Like when it comes to you know, pharma companies and, you know, like biomedical companies. I mean, these guys, I know they raise a shitload of money because R&D is insanely expensive and time consuming.
Yeah.
And the way that it sounds is, with most pharma companies, like, you either make $250 million or nothing. You know, it's like there's not a lot of in between.
Yeah.
So, you know, I don't know. Maybe that speaks to that, where you're basically swinging for the fences with these blockbuster drugs or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
but anyway, that'll be interesting to just kind of keep track of, man. Because I mean, dude, if you don't think that there are big changes in fucking healthcare coming down the pipeline, I don't know. Then you haven't been paying very close attention to the economy. So.
Yeah, I mean, look, man, we've been covering the what seem to be suggestions of some major shifts in Congress. And I think that this is going to be, healthcare will be the first fucking thing that is addressed, without doubt. And and honestly, like, you know, like I said, I mean, I am at my very nature a huge proponent for just allowing the free market to do what the free market does. That being said, there are I think you know, I guess preface here is, I think we look at healthcare and education in a really fucking weird way in this country.
Yeah.
But really, there are two things you need to have a robust, productive population. You need health and you need education. So I think, you know, privatizing something like the Postal Service, right, to ensure that, you know, people can take risks, you know, because their healthcare is covered.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that that's good long-term policy, right?
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. I don't pretend to know, because I haven't thought about it. I mean, we'd have to sit here and really go through it, but I haven't thought about it in the depth that would need to be thought about to formulate like a really solid opinion. Ostensibly, though, having healthcare and having education covered or subsidized heavily makes sense to me. Those kind of seem like public utilities.
Yeah.
But where that money comes from, no fucking idea. So that's kind of where the conversation stops. But anyway,
Yeah.
so somebody had a fucking kick-ass New Year's Eve.
Yeah, they did.
Segue. All right, so break us off with this piece, and then we'll go into the home stretch here.
Yeah, dude. So, give me 1 second. I don't know. My computer decided not to function. But anyway, so what does every great news article start off with? Florida man.
Yeah,
that's the answer.
Yeah,
Florida man.
that is the answer. That is
well,
the answer.
in this case, there's a group of them.
Okay.
So I pulled this one from NBC News. Florida men arrested for allegedly stealing $500,000 of tequila on New Year's Eve. So
what an operation, man.
No, but the best part is it's like let's see. 4 men were arrested early Monday morning and accused of stealing more than $500,000 worth of Patron tequila in Tampa, Florida. So this is just so ridiculous. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office, they sent some deputies out to check into it, I guess. And they had transferred 20 cases out of a truck that was, let's see, out of 966 cases.
Okay.
So they hadn't made a hell of a lot of fucking, progress. And apparently there's 4 dudes doing this shit.
Okay.
So, I don't get it.
So
I
they
don't
were
fucking get it.
Well, yeah, right. Well, you don't. I guess you don't get it because you're not on that life of crime tip just yet. But so what's the commentary, that they were lazy?
Well, no. The commentary is it's like, okay, well, wait a second. If you've got 4 dudes, that means each dude moved fucking 5 cases, and so apparently they caught these guys very, very quickly.
Maybe they were fucked up.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, they obviously, they're moving tequila, but I would think, look, their last names, Estrada, Escobar, Ramirez, and Obaya.
Okay. So
and
look,
they sound
man,
like guys that could handle their tequila. Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Well, this could.
Maybe they were doing more drinking than moving. So.
Oh, yeah, that's the thing here, right? Is like I'm willing to wager this wasn't part of like like multiple crime families coming together for the one last tequila heist before they all hung it up. Like this is not Ocean's 19 here, right?
Yeah.
These guys,
Ocean's 19.
These guys, it's pretty spur of the moment. Which, by the way, before we hop into closing this thing out, have you ever seen that fucking video of the guy in New York stealing a bucket of gold? Have you ever seen this?
A bucket of gold? No.
Yeah. So. There's this like Brinks truck that pulls up to it's like a bucket of, I think it was a bucket of gold, but there's like
I'm watching right now.
Yeah,
so it's a bucket of gold flakes.
Yeah, and so there's a Brinks truck that pulls up to this business to get cash, right?
Yeah.
And they leave the back open, and there's this Asian man just walking by on the fucking sidewalk, just like glances in the back, and in that moment makes the decision to steal this heavy ass gold flake bucket, and he just grabs it out of the back and just books off, and they never found the guy, right?
Are you shitting me?
No, dude, they never found this fucking guy. And so it's just, man, maybe it's a similar situation. They saw a warehouse door open and they were like, let's go steal $1 million worth of fucking tequila,
The
logistics of which were more complicated than they had ever anticipated. So,
well, the video that I just watched was like a CGI dramatization of it, and it's like pretty fucking awesome.
Well, no, you gotta watch the actual video. It's like
it had the actual video at the
okay.
beginning. It's like this dude walking around with a damn messenger bag or something.
Yeah, and he's just like walking,
and he's just
by.
like glances in, and he's like,
he does like a triple take, and
Yeah.
it's like, they said they were like, dude, this guy didn't even know what he had. Like he just saw a fucking cash truck open and just like made the decision in that moment to steal what was ever the back of there. So anyway.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with a I don't know. I couldn't come up with another a parody version of DB Cooper, but I feel like that's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, so. Well, you see, the weirdest part was though, you see at the very end of the video, you see him start to like pick up the pace into like a run, and he's running towards the end of a rainbow. Yeah. Anyway, did it? Yeah. He's awfully tall to be a leprechaun. That's exactly right. But he was in disguise, so you know. So here we go, man. This is the wrap, the bow on the first episode of 2019. This is Twitter Twitter. Shit. I'm like looking at our social handles. This is Tether 31. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So here we are, friendos, people that have been in the zone for a little over an hour. We are now at the end of episode 31 of Tether Radio Podcast. As always, we appreciate you joining us for this time together. I'm going to go through through some of our handles here just to remind y'all where you can find us. Questions, comments, hate mail, send it all. We love it. tetherradio@gmail.com. That's TETHERRADIO@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter @tether_radio. Instagram is the same damn handle @tether_radio. Facebook, which by the way, man, we have not like beat up on Mark Zuckerberg in like a month. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's been at least a few episodes. Yeah, man. But I mean, you know, like I said last episode, Facebook had a pretty good 2018.
Yeah, right. Well, I was showing somebody just in the first of this year, like the highlight reel of Mark Zuckerberg drinking water. So you know, anyway, fucking if you haven't seen
Android.
Yeah, he's fucking Android. But we are on Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook @Tether Radio, all one word. So here we are at the end of episode 31. This is going to be a hell of a year. We've got some special programming that we're working on for the month of February. We're going to have a big block episode with one central theme, which we think you guys will dig. We're putting that together right now and getting some lift there. And it's probably going to be the second or third week of February. So we'll give you guys some details on that as they become available. So this was
real quick.
Mm-hmm.
If you please, any listeners out there, hop onto whatever platform you listen to Tether on, and man, give us some reviews, man. We need some feedback because we want to make this, we want to curate this content to make our listeners as happy as possible. So you know, tell us how shitty, tell us how great, tell us whatever you'd like to tell us. But toss a review on whatever platform you listen on. So
we may do what you say. We may not. I don't know. But anyway, no. But like Daniel said, we want to hear. So get on there and just do the right thing, man. Give us 5 stars and just and move on. Yeah. So anyway, the end of Tether Radio Podcast episode 31. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Daniel.
And this was Tether Radio. Stay tethered, friends, and we will talk to you next week.